Netflix on the screen, healthcare in between, physics, art, and math, got us down this path. Historical tales come alive, where science and stories dive, blended facts with heart, knowledge from the start. Meet rich blues we sing, to the future memory, health and science in the mix, Meadbridge got the fix. Complex subjects make
right
clear
now
every episode
in ways that we actually acquire
leads the way,
and ways that make me more efficient.
in the world of digital streams, turning knowledge into dreams, through the tales of old, new stories unfold.
Thank you so much for joining with me. It is a truly an honor and a privilege.
MedBix Webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming. Hey, welcome to the MedBix Webcast. You know, that was Mary Milburn, that song that you heard. Welcome. This is Ramana Anam Raju. I'm the host. That is the national anthem for American national anthem. She was singing for 4 presidents, including the present president. She was a official national anthem singer. Mary Milburn, good friend of mine. And, you need to come back, Mary. Don't take breaks. We need you. Okay. So she's very close to India also. She did a Janaganamana, Indian national anthem. Very beautiful. That you got to listen to on the YouTube. She did an Indian national anthem. So Mary Milburn is a very, very well known. Thank you, Mary. I hope you come back on our podcast one day. Okay. So let me tell you something interesting. Let me bring a little bit about the upcoming guest. My guest is
as a Dr. Diana Thomas. She's a PhD, Indian diaspora. Her parents are from India. She is a, she's a mathematician. She's a professor. Can you believe this? She's a professor in the West Point Military Academy. She teaches mathematics in the West Point. She's a professor there. Um, she's a prolific researcher in the AI. My channel is a healthcare channel. Why I'm bringing her, you will know very soon. What she did was very interesting thing. He did. I want to show you a little bit what she did. So let me turn let me bring her a little bit. I'm going to show it. Yeah, this is a Mary Melbourne, of course. Let me show you why I brought her. Dr. Eric Topol is a renowned cardiologist. He made a column in the New York Times saying that the health metrics, BMI, body mass index, that's what they call. This is a very standard way of measuring the health of the body. It's called body mass index, they call. American obesity is epidemic here. 43% of obese patients, 43% of the total population, almost are obese in this country by definition, by medical definition. But body round index has a new kind of a metric. This one of the professors that involved here with the upcoming guest to come up with this new metric for the health, assess the health of a patient. It's called a body round index. Is that bumped into 48%? Almost every second person is obese according to the medical definition. This is a much more better metric than body mass index. So this is what she did was, there's a body round index, is a body mass index is height versus weight. That's all. They take the weight and they divide it by the height and they come back with a BMI score. That is a body mass index. Usually people, what the doctors do is the first thing, one of those things they do and measure the state of the health. You will know whether this person is really keeping up the health or not. Anything is missing. But that is not good, because I tell you why it is not good. I'm going to show you something there. This is a lady that I'm going to show you. Her name is Ilona Moore. She is a US rugby player. She was classified as obese. It doesn't make any sense under BMI, body mass index. It didn't make any sense because wrong classification right there. So B.R.I. is when they measured through B.R.I, she was the normal. So we need B.R.I is a much better metrics. I think the doctors need to adopt this new metric. B.R.I, body round index, is a very different. Body mass index is just a simple division, but body round index is a much more calculus involved. Is a much more complex mechanism. They came up with a mathematical formula. So our guest came back with one of these formulas. Actually, I'm going to introduce you. Dr. Diana Thomas came up with this body round index. So it's a revolutionary metric in the health assess the health of the patients. But the reason is, one of the things that body round index is, why it is different than body mass index, is the roundness around the waist is more important. If you measure the height, weight, and roundness and use the formula, actually you can go and check it out on my website, on medbricks.com. You can do your B.R.I score there. It tells you you're obese or not if you use a B.R.I score. They could be normal, everything. They look normal from outside. When you see B.R.I, you may be one of the high-risk group. So check it out, okay? So this is I wanted to be, so let me come back and so what is going on here? Oh, there's something in my, oh God. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Something went wrong. So let me bring Dr. Diana Thomas. She is a prolific researcher in the AI. She got the grant from, she is doing a lot of research on the obesity and the nutrition dietary habits of the people. Now she's involved in the all of us research NIH funded program, $140 million program. She's involved. She running the AI nutrition side of it. Let me bring her to the table, and then you know, just I am going to be just let me see if she's why. Welcome back, Diana Thomas. It is a very, you've been before on my channel. Thank you so much for coming back. Let me ask you, welcome to the MedBricks, let me ask you a question. We have a long stereotyping about women in mathematics, so, particularly they say it's harder for women, harder is not attuned for, how did you cross that barrier? Though you brought up an Indian home at your household, you have a lot of exposure to mathematics. So tell us a little bit about your mathematical journey to a PhD in mathematics.
So I grew up in Glendive, Montana. So this is eastern Montana. It's not a very highly populated place. And the people I grew up with, many of the girls worked side by side with the boys on ranches and farms. And so we never were told, I don't recall ever being told that these are girls' things and these are boys' things. And my parents never said, hats off to my parents. They never said these are boys' things and these are girls' things. My dad had 5 girls in the family and 1 boy, and he really treated us and expected the same from all of us. And so that was how I grew up. I never knew that there was anything different between a boy and a girl, and they're supposed to do different things. Then when I came to college, my first professor was a female professor. She was actually, if not the first Black female PhD in math, she was one of the first for sure. So this was my first role model at University of Montana. And there I never knew anything was different for boys and girls. My first teacher was a PhD in math. And so then when I went to graduate school, by that time, the one thing about mathematicians is about math, you're just one of the club. They don't look at you. I never felt anyone looked at me and said, you don't belong here. As long as you can do math, you're part of the gang. And so the math community themselves, I believe, are very one-sided in this. There are, instead of a discrimination against a woman, there's mathematicians and non-mathematicians. Those are the 2 groups of people. So
hats off to your father. Hats off to your father and mother, doing that, instilling. My daughter is a statistician. She went to she got a degree in statistics. That's like really inspiring. But you broke a lot of stereotypes. Another one is you from a traditional Indian family to all the way to military world, even to the U.S. Army side. How did you that is a bigger step actually? Tell us a little bit about that journey.
So, contrary to popular belief, we have a lot of mathematicians in the United States. So when I graduated in 1996, a long time ago, from Georgia Tech, I applied for different colleges. And you got to put yourself in that back in the 1996 timeframe. The internet was just starting. We were just starting to do online applications and mass applications to places. So I applied to 90 some jobs. And one of them, I met with then Colonel Chris Arney at the joint math meetings. They were recruiting for new professors at West Point. So civilian professors were just starting to be a thing at West Point, because I think Congress mandated by the year 2000 that 25% of the institution be civilian professors. And this was for a large range of things to bring some of the disciplinary depth to the institution. So West Point started these 3-year positions back then, postdocs. And I had one interview. It was with Colonel Chris Arney at the joint math meetings in Florida. And I told my mom later, I think I have this job. And lucky for me, I did have the job. It was not a, they don't hire, we had postdocs only back then. And then there were some senior civilian professors. I came to West Point at 27 years old. I was one of these young people that were just on a 3-year rotation postdoc. And I was blessed that in 2016, they asked me if I would come back as a senior person. But in between that time, I was at other colleges. West Point just called me back. So
But by the way, I was in Atlanta in 1996. I had office not that far from Georgia Tech, on a Peachtree Street. I had third and Peachtree Street. I had my office. It's not too far from there. Yeah. So
I will say
I'm
this
from,
about I will say this about West Point though, and we it's great we connected now, and we were just side by side back then. But my son went to West Point. He graduated in 2022. So our family
congratulations.
is Colonel Arnie started off our whole marriage with West Point. So
Congratulations. That is a big, proud moment for you.
yes.
The reason you are, my channel is a healthcare channel. Everybody's wondering why I brought you here. They may be wondering, but the reason is nowadays I tell you that you introduced a very revolutionary concept. Is called Body Round Index, Roundness Index or Body Round Index. I don't know, Roundness Index probably. So it is. I'm going to show you just as clear, if you don't mind, that you will just demonstrate you a little bit about that. That is Diana Thomas. So let me show you a little bit about what I did.
Oh,
Is that is the one? What do you think of that thing? That is so that is explain to me what is body mass index, and I'm going to explain in the what is the difference between the body mass index and the body roundness index. Can you explain that, and what is that differences? Really paid attention that why you got this idea of BRI.
so I think I mentioned this on the last time I was on here, but body mass index, you can actually explain why you would take weight and divide by height squared in terms of geometry. And the piece about that is that we're considering the human body as a cylinder. And if you remember from high school, the volume of a cylinder is height pi r squared h. So the r squared is really kind of where the h squared, so you can kind of picture a square type of thing coming from one of the dimensions on the body, relates it to the volume of a cylinder. Now, when I look at my body, for example, it doesn't look like a cylinder. It has some like roundness to it. And so I'm more elliptical, I would say. And so I began to think of the human body as an ellipse. And instead of so the major axis of the ellipse would be the height, and the minor axis would be the diameter or the major axis of around the waist. And so you can take those two and it's really an ellipsoid around the person. And with ellipses, we have measurements that come from celestial mechanics. Kepler actually used eccentricity to talk about how circular a ellipse is. So an ellipse could be thought of as being closer to being a circle. So this square root business that you see in the body roundness index, this comes from eccentricity. The other numbers really are just making them more palatable to the human mind, so that they're not numbers between 0 and 1. Eccentricity is between 0 and 1. The closer that number is to 1, the closer you are to being a straight line, more like a volume of an ellipse. The closer that number is to 0, the more circular you are.
So I just put a formula on the street. Is it same formula that you did? You're different, yes. Same formula, right? So yes. It is like a little bit complex formula. It's not that straightforward, but people, particularly doctors watching it, I think B.R.I. is one of the things that I talk about, that where B.R.I. classification is important is sometimes even athletes like there's Ilana Mar, she was a rugby player, the national US rugby player. She was classified as obese. Actually, B.R.I. says that is normal. So even a classification sometimes, so BMI missing some targets, good people you put in the bad side, good people, bad side, good side. So there is a big, actually it is increasing the obesity definition for 43% to 48% BRI. So BRI is a new metric. You started it. Dr. Eric Topol was talking about in the New York Times about you, that he introduced this body roundness index. That do you agree with that? That index is the very key in that sense.
I want to first say that index was not just me. I worked with Courtney Peterson. She's at Harvard right now. Her degree was in physics, actually. So her and I talked a lot about this. Steve Heimsfield was on this paper. My friend Annie McDougall from statistician from Montclair was on this paper. So there was a lot of folks on the paper, but Courtney and I talked about it quite a bit in the hallways and stuff at Pennington Biomedical when I used to visit. And one of the things that I think we both would agree on is that you want to use all the information in front of you. So BMI can misclassify people, like the picture of the athlete that you have. And I think we always think, oh, BMI will misclassify an athlete as classifying them with obesity when they are not really having obesity, and you can tell by the eyes. But I think what also, as you alluded to, BMI can misclassify someone as being healthy when they're not.
Yes,
And
that is
so
a bigger problem.
you can have B.R.I. Actually, we used B.R.I. in my own family. And so one of my brother-in-laws, his BMI is fine, but his B.R.I. came out of the healthy zone. And so you want to use all the information out in front of you. And I'm not a physician. I'm just the person giving information to a physician. So a physician would actually take all the information and then have a conversation and make a decision of what's best for their patient. So I would use every metric that's in front of me to make a decision.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a better metric. The initial the diagnosis, doctors immediately jump into BMI and say that they figure out, they make a biased opinion. I think they should consider this BRI as a new metric, and I think they need to go with that. Besides with all the other diagnoses they go through, but I think it is a good idea to start with the BRI itself. That's the adoption is still struggling. I don't think doctors are adopting. I don't see any. I go to a lot of doctors' offices for business, but I don't see a lot of them adopting. I think we need to push that adoption of a BRI adoption. There must be. So I actually added your link in my website. They can go through and click on the link and can use that BRI on my website, medbricks.com. So obesity, this is the real thing is a metabolic system. We are measuring a healthy body or classifying obesity. What do you think of this? You are now prolific researcher in the AI. Is it AI is doing anything new in the obesity? Let us talk about the nutrition later on, but let us talk about the AI is doing anything in obesity side, anything it found anything new or finding a new drugs.
So I think in terms of AI, so AI has it means a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
And we're just, one of my friends says, we're at Act 1, Scene 1, AI has just stepped in the room. So it's this tool that we're using for many different things. And I'll give you one example where AI is being used in obesity. And I think this is not the only company that's using AI in this way. But one nice thing about something like generative AI is we know that if you can talk to a counselor when you're trying to lose weight, you will have better results. But for humans, you need a human to be there in front of you, and that means that they can't be there 24/7. But ChatGPT can be there 24/7. So a company like Simple, they help with a weight loss platform. I think they come out of England. I'm not sure, but they are using a ChatGPT like platform for counseling, and and they're shaping that. So when I said AI has just stepped in the room, they're learning how to use it effectively with their customers. But the benefit is that the AI assisted chat program is there 24/7. So you can have conversations with the AI ChatGPT element or the generative AI element when you need to. And so that I've seen that as simple as one company.
One second, sir. I'm going to 1 second. I'm going to break a little bit and let me bring a hi. Yeah. Just I wanted to bring a sponsor of this podcast. That Michael is going to Nafisen. I think Nafisen. I said that his words. Yeah, I'm going to bring him to the table. They're doing a long. I'm in the center of Silicon Valley. They're doing a summit, is the extending the long lives. How do you extend lives? That is this, they're doing a summit. So let me I get the his founder is Nick Larson, a good friend of mine, and his colleague is joining from Mountain View, I think. Let me bring him to the table. Michael, let me just let me just a minute. Yeah. Okay. This is just to hold on to this one for a while. So that I think, yeah. Hi, Michael. Welcome to the MedBix webcast.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your summit. What is the summit going on? What is this? Is a long life evolution? Tell me about the summit and everything about you a little bit more.
Sure. So on October 10th, 2025, at the Ameswell Hotel, right across the 101 freeway from NASA Ames Research Center, we're hosting the Ageless Evolution.
It is in Mountain View, right? It's in Mountain View, right?
Yes, it's
Okay.
it's near Mountain View in Palo Alto, but it's right there right next to Moffett Field and the Ageless Evolution Longevity Center.
Very good.
And it's a summit that is about preventing aging, reducing aging, and increasing longevity. And we have a number of speakers lined up, like Peter Crone, Mark Victor Hansen, Ron John Nag, who's a Stanford doctor and professor, Bianca Valenti, Dr. Nico Dimitriades, Dr. Nino Martins, David Furman, Dr. Arbella Sarkis, and it's going to bring together a lot of VCs, CEOs, doctors, and scientists from around the Bay Area. There's going to be an investor and founder pitch room. There's going to be a lot that's happening there. It's over the course of a single day. And if you attend, if you go to the website, which is right there under my name, www.agelessevolutionsummit.com, and you put in MedBricks, you get 30% off your ticket price.
Very good. So, Michael, this is a summit is going to be held in. So, MedBricks is you are giving a special discount on the MedBricks. This is a lot of who are the attendees? Investors, doctors, the longevity experts, the people who did a lot of work on the reverse aging, probably, right? All of them are. They're going to discuss genetical, biological, and behavioral. All of them is a mix of all this together. They wanted to extend lives. That is a ageless evolution summit, I think, right? October 10th. It's going to be there in the morning to evening, right? The whole day. That's a summit, right? I highly encourage all the lifestyle medicine doctors, particularly, would be very much interested in these kind of things. I think our audience are mostly doctors, so particularly lifestyle medicine doctors would be of a more interest. This is the thing, a must attend. I think I highly appreciate. Thank you so much, Michael, giving this information. October 10th is Ageless Evolution Summit. Actually, that is there under his name. You can see that website and put a MedBricks there. You get 30% off. Okay, thank you for joining. Okay, thank you so much, Michael.
Thank
To say hello to Nick Larson.
All right, I will.
Thank you all. Okay, bye. Bye. They had seen that. Let me. 1 second, that video. I need to. It's coming. Welcome back, Diana Thomas. You know, it's very, you've been before on my channel. Something is going on. I don't know what it is, but let me.
I've seen that. That as simple as one company I've seen that in.
So what do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean by just a chat GPT there for obesity side of it? What kind of food? So there is a new kind of things. I'm eating this kind of food. Is it good for my health or not? Or what is that using in the context of obesity?
So when you have a weight loss program, one of the things that helps is frequent check-ins or being able to talk to somebody and get information back. So I don't know exactly how they're using their plan, the Simple's plan, because I haven't used it myself. But I do know that they have this integrated into their platform. So there's other things they're doing, but they're working this inside their platform. So you have someone to talk to all the time. But I myself have used ChatGPT. So I don't know that they're using ChatGPT, but they're using generative AI to do this. I myself have used it to develop meal plans. So here's what I can do is I had a thyroid issue and I wanted thyroid healthy foods. But so I asked for things that will help me keep my weight down, keep the calories down, but give me a meal plan over a 7-day period to that has low in calories, but is a meal plan that meets this thyroid need. By about week 2 or 3, I got so sick of the food on there. And I said, you know what? I actually don't like the things you're giving me. So I told it, I don't like this kind of food. I like pizza, burgers, and I like Italian food. I like Asian food, like ramen bowls. I like Indian food. So I told it what I like. I like Mediterranean food. I said, give me a diverse meal plan that meets the thyroid, but gives me that feeling that I had those comfort foods. And it did. It gave me some fabulous recipes.
You see that value right there. Yeah, that is that's a
and
beautiful.
it also does something else pretty well. So one of the things that ChatGPT does, and probably all the generative AI is using LLMs, large language models behind empowering them. But one of the things that ChatGPT does really well is if I'm at a restaurant, I can take a picture of the menu and say, I am not at home. You gave me this 7-day meal plan. I am here. What's the best thing on this menu I can have? And it not only tells me what I can have on the menu, it also tells me, you can ask for the Beyond Burger, but ask for it without the in an open face sandwich. So only the bottom bar. So it gives me advice of how to choose that. I also can take pictures of the food and ask it to estimate the calories, estimate the macronutrients. So it'll give you the full report back of the picture. And that might seem like it's an obvious thing, but this is a really, really hard problem that has not been broken before generative AI in a good way. So one of our, I have an invention actually that I'm part of it with a team, and we have people take pictures of their food and we try to estimate things like the calories in the food. And that's a really hard thing to do. It's a really, really hard thing to do. So now it's easier. In the advent of generative AI, this is much, much easier.
Absolutely amazing. In my view, that is really that's where the AI can really make use of AI, is that on the real time and ask the advice in this menu, what should I order? And then if I eat a little bit more, maybe I can adjust tomorrow. I should be not eating any food, something, or maybe intermittent fasting or something. So I think that is a great way. Absolutely. You demonstrated very well where that use of obesity, obese people.
I would say again, just my friend Rodolfo Brango. He's he's a geneticist, I think, but he said this AI has just stepped in the room. Act 1, Scene 1, AI has just stepped in the room. We still need to sniff check it. So we still need to go back. So what I do usually is I ask ChatGPT, is what I've been using. I ask it, why are you telling me this? Show me the evidence. Show me which papers in PubMed. Tell me where to look for so I can find the evidence behind what you're telling me. So we still have to do our human due diligence and sniff check whatever we're getting from any of this generative AI. So
Diana, we came a long way from last time I spoke with you, but this time AI went up far ahead of that lot of hallucinations went down. It is really proving beyond beyond a lot of things. Even I was surprised about that the progress that AI made. So that particularly in healthcare is still a slow process, but is they're slowly adopting it. But let me ask you. Now you mentioned the dietary habits now. Let us talk about the NIH funded program that you are into, nutrition AI. You're a prolific researcher in the artificial intelligence and the nutrition. So the NIH funded program, all of us, I actually interviewed some people before about all of us about that. Can you tell us all of us about it's like a 1 million people population. They want to take it and get the all kinds of data inside, right? Can you tell us a little bit about the NIH funded program, all of us program, and then all of us research program, and then your particular participation in that one?
great. That's a great thing. So let me start with all of us.
Yes.
So all of us is really an amazing study. So it is a cross-sectional study. It's a cohort study, so it's not it's collecting data from people. But unlike other studies in the past, all of us, they're collecting it from all of us. People are recruited to the study to provide information, their EHR, electronic health records. They do a battery of surveys, questionnaires. They have some measurements. Some of them contribute Fitbit data. So there's a wealth of measurements in this, all of us, and they also contribute their genetic data. So you have genomic data inside the same database. So you as a researcher can go and interrogate this database. It's open to researchers. You can register for an account, and you have to have a research question, and you go through a set of training first to get into this workbench. So you'd go to the All of Us Researcher workbench site, and they'll explain what this study is about. But I really like the training also for this study, because you understand and you think of the participants who've contributed their data as being part of the research process. They're human beings that have contributed because they want to contribute, and they are allowed to see there's a return of the results of your research that go back to them. And they can also see the research questions that are being asked. So when you apply for an account, you will have to state what your research question is, and the participants who contributed their data actually can see your question and your progress to answering that question. So that's the All of Us study, and they have a lot of records in there already. So that
This is the largest data collection of 1 million people. That their goal is. Is it the largest collection of data? First time on the large scale humans, on human data, right? Human health data that is collected. They're collecting it, right?
And the way so they have in place methods to protect the privacy and the integrity of the participants. And so you have to work in this workbench in a cloud. You cannot download the data. You work in Jupyter notebooks with R or Python inside the workbench. There's strict rules about not screenshotting individual participant data. So it's really been de-identified to a good level of they take that very seriously. Let's put it
What
that
is
way.
the purpose of this data collection, large scale data collection? What is the purpose actually?
So you can ask questions. So for example, I haven't asked this, but I'll throw out some questions here. If you look at something like kidney stones, we do have some predictors and factors of who gets kidney stones and why. Maybe like being sedentary is one factor that's a predictor. Obesity is another factor that's a predictor. But what makes some people get kidney stones and some people don't? Well, they have electronic health records in there. So you can look by just one disease type, and then look at, now you have genetic information. You also have Fitbit information. You also have, demographic, and you also have these questionnaires. one of the questionnaires I really love is the Social Determinants of Health questionnaire.
Yeah.
So there's like several questionnaires in there that have very interesting questions on it. And so now you can really investigate factors that contribute to this one disease. I can think of other diseases. One of the cadets a number of years ago just wanted to look at breast cancer alone. So then he filtered down the data to look at breast cancer, and participants who had that data in there that he can interrogate and answer some question that he was interested in breast cancer. So there's so many questions that you can ask.
How does it useful for is mainly intended for researchers, or is it intended for even doctors can use in the everyday life? Hey, you have this diet, maybe if they are from certain region of the world, hey, you this data is causing the kidney stones, for example, and say, hey, change the data. This data is causing this health, your dietary habit is causing the kidney stones. Is it possible? Some people drink a lot of sodas and carbonated sodas that could be causing of the kidney stones. So you think useful directly in the doctor's office also, this kind of a data? Oh, Diana, you're lost. I don't know where it is. Hold on. Okay. Sorry, we lost you a little bit.
Right, no problem. But what I was trying to say is that you have to have some kind of programming skills, and you have to have some mathematical background to go do that analysis, probably, to get in there. There's a startup cost. One of our data engineers says this is the cost of protecting the privacy of the participants. So unless a doctor has time in the evenings to do a second job and play around with the data like that, and they may, if it was, after all, lawyers who posed Fermat's theorem. So it might be possible that a doctor has time and energy after a long day to actually do this. But I think it's more for people who have data skills that can get in there, maybe a team, an interdisciplinary team. So the questions can be asked, and there's a data person to go in there and do some analysis, and then have that actually make an impact for a real world decision making process. But this is the future. It's a real big change from.
I think
I have a question.
Can
You know,
you, if you don't mind, can you rejoin a little bit? You're breaking up a little bit. Okay, let's try. Can you hear me now clearly?
yeah, I hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
So
but people like you can come back with some kind of a app that is, you can interface that for the doctors, they can use it
Yes.
directly without knowing all the mathematics and Python and all those things,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
And,
At least
and as part of the study that I'm doing with the Nutrition for Precision Health Consortium, that is one of our tasks, is to build some tools in there to make it easier for other people to go and do things.
yeah. Let me ask you that what is you're in a particularly you're in a sub program of that all of his research, which is that dietary habits and the nutrition, artificial intelligence, the role of artificial intelligence in the nutrition, dietary habits, collecting all the large data about what they eat, what they don't eat, and all those things. So tell us a little bit about that. What is that? What you're doing with the AI and nutrition?
So in 2015, there was a landmark paper by a group from Israel, published in Cell. Zivi was the first author, the lead author of that study. And they did this remarkable study on looking at precision nutrition. So the goal was, in their study, is to collect a wealth of information on lots of participants, and then give them particular foods and look at their response, predict their response to that food using all these predictors. So they collected microbiome data, they collected questionnaire data, they had dietary information, They had CGM, continuous glucose monitors. So they found new factors from the microbiome, specifically that predicted the response to things like bread, fruit. So it gave the participants something to eat. And so from this study was born the idea, hey, we can do this on a large scale. We can fund a study on a large scale with lots of participants with layered data in different modules. Where, like, you're giving people foods, and we can put that out as a request for applications. So the request for applications came from the NIH in 2021. And I applied for this. That's how I got the award for one of the AI centers for this big study. It's a consortium. It crosses over. Okay, so I'll pause there so see if you have more questions.
Diana, let me ask you this, if you don't mind. I think can you turn off your Wi-Fi and come back again? Your Wi-Fi is very weak. You're freezing up a lot of times. I don't know why, but once in a while you're freezing up. Your Wi-Fi is good Wi-Fi we have?
Yes, it is. But let me see if I can do some. Hang on one second. Let me try something else.
Yeah.
All right, let's try this.
Yeah. Okay.
If I'm the PI of an AI center, I should be able to fix this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You're freezing up quite a bit. That's why.
Is this better?
Okay. It's better. Let us see how it goes.
Right.
Yeah. So, Diana, let me ask you. This is how much? This is a huge program that AI. You are collecting all the dietary habits of the different people, different cultures, different spectrum of people. Right? Tell us a little bit about that, because I struggled with this always in my life. I'm from South India, like you, your parents from. I eat white rice. I love rice. So, one of the problem is that some doctors say, well, rice is very bad for you. It's really, but you grew up with it. I'm not sure what they're right or wrong. They're not getting all the data enough. I feel that. So tell us a little bit about this new study, what it can do, what it does do, and what it can suggest to the doctors about these dietary habits itself.
So, in the past, we ran clinical trials on different kinds of diets. So, let's pick one of them. Let's pick Mediterranean diet. Mediterranean diet automatically. Let me ask you back to you, the interviewer. What do you think about the Mediterranean? When you hear the words Mediterranean diet, what do you think?
It's a healthy diet. That's what the people think. It
All
is
right.
good
So,
for you.
yeah, right. It's a good diet, right? And what about the Snickers diet? I give you a bunch of Snickers bars.
Yeah.
All right. So here, like, what we know is that what you're perceiving is really on the average. On average, someone who eats a Mediterranean diet, on average, population-wide average, does well. But if you look at these studies on the Mediterranean diet, there's a large variability. It's just like something like bariatric surgery. Bariatric surgery has a really good outcome for reducing obesity. On average, some people don't respond well to it. And so we have non-responders to bariatric surgery. In the same way, we have non-responders to the Mediterranean diet.
Yeah.
And so, but in our minds, we hear so often that the Mediterranean diet is good and that the Snickers bar is bad. I shouldn't have chosen Snickers bars. I should have chosen white rice. White rice is bad. Mediterranean diet is good. But these are population averages. It's like you can think of it as, I do an intervention. I take two groups of people. One group has the Mediterranean diet, the other group doesn't, and then I look at a difference in means between the two. So that's not quite the same as you're trying to find out in that case which diet wins. In these type of studies, we're trying to explain who wins on
individually.
the individual, right?
Correct.
And like I always say, I hope I'm the one that does well on the Snickers bar because I really like Snickers. But there's things that we do, our environmental exposures, our genes, that make us up the person we are and how we react. And everybody's got that friend who can eat all kinds of things and it doesn't seem to do anything to them.
You know, there was a diet actually when I was doing a lot of doctor business with the doctors. There was a diet came in long time ago in the 80s and 90s. There is the only proteins is like a steak. Every day they eat steak. So the guys
Yes.
told me, my friend, one of the friends told me, "Oh, this is an excellent diet. I don't eat. I only eat steak every day." He died actually after the heart attack. So it's all this bad information coming there. They don't even know what is good for them, what is not good for. I think this study, your AI can look into this individual. You're doing a precision nutrition, right? You're
Yes.
doing individually what is good for you, and not some general, you're good for you this protein diet, or good for you, what is the name of Martha Stewart diet, whatever that, you have pre-kg stuff, people there, everybody is pushing their own diets. We need to have that data available, like what you're studying, what you're doing research now. Individual precision nutrition is the key for for our health and habits, right?
And this falls under precision health too. So,
Yeah.
giving or precision education, if you want to think of, I like to think of things from education. So if
Yeah.
I have a math class and the students come into the math class and I assume that let's say I know certain things. I know some homework is going to be good for this class. On average, there might come somebody who doesn't respond to that homework well, and they learn something in their own way. Some people like to, when I ask students what made you do well in my class, some of them say, well, the videos you record that helped me a lot. Some of them say I did the homework a lot of the homework, and that made me do well. Some of them said I just listened and pay attention in class, and that made me do well. Everybody has a different thing that made them do well. Not everybody wasn't the same. And they come into the class with a background. It's not like the first day of class, they come to my class and they all were the same. Some of them have a background where math was something that they loved, and their family loved it, and they come to my class that way. Some people didn't have that love affair with mathematics. But we treat them all, if we give them all the same thing, we give them all the same test, we give them all the same stuff, we're assuming they're all the same, but they're not. So a good teacher should find out what makes each student tick and precisely give them what they need. It's not any different.
Let me ask you that this what are the metrics you are collecting? So I heard the liquid, some kind of a liquid test, something like that. I don't understand it. Tell us a little bit about what tests you are collecting. What are the things you're doing there, and then the what are the tests you're collecting? What kind of a vital data? Why that you're collecting from patients who are not patients? These are individuals who are we are eating different kind of food.
So these are great questions. I had these same questions when I first came to the consortium. So if you read the ZV study and you looked at the RFAs and information about the Nutrition for Precision Health program, they have on their website about these liquid tests. And in fact, they're called meal challenge. You can read about them. They're called liquid meal challenges. And they're born of something called the OGTT, the oral glucose tolerance test. That was a precursor idea. It's a mixed meal. So instead of, I don't know if you know what an oral glucose tolerance test is, but it's one of the ways we diagnose diabetes is we give people a glucose drink, and then we measure their blood sugar at time points after the drink. But I don't have to give you just glucose. I could give you anything. I could give you a Snickers bar and then do the same thing. I could give you a liquid test. So there's these amazing studies with Fenflex. Fenflex was one of these tests that they gave. You can look it up. It's called PHENFLEX, and they'd give people that and then do a blood test, series of blood tests after.
You're not directly measuring the tolerance of glucose. You're measuring some kind of a receptor kind of thing. Is like a signal.
No, you're measuring the analyte, so glucose, insulin in the blood at these serial time points, 2 to 4 hours to 6 hours after someone has ingested this. And that's what we call the response to the diet. So we call that a meal challenge. And I asked one of my friends who's a clinician in the group, like, why are they calling this a challenge? It took me a long time to understand why they call that a challenge, but it's much like a stress test. So when we give you a stress test, I don't do any of this. So when I say we, it's not me. Somebody else is giving this. But let's say someone says, run up a hill for 10 minutes. That's a stress test. And then we look at like what fact the test itself is not the end all. The diet itself, what we gave you is not the end all. We want to see what physiological factors come from that stress test. So it's not that you ran up a hill for 10 minutes and we expect you to run up a hill every day for 10 minutes. It's more that we want to know, what was your heart rate when you ran up that hill? What was your respiratory rate when you ran up that hill? So there's factors that we want to know. It tells us about your physiology. In the same way, when someone gives you this liquid drink, that your response to it tells us a lot about you. That's why it's called a challenge. It's very much like a stress test.
This study can open up new drug discovery, right? Like Ozempic. Now we are moving to the GLP-1 drugs, right? Is a glucose, that protein, that messenger, the messenger one, to the brain, right? That we are blocking that messenger. I'm full. I'm hungry. I'm not no more hungry. That is one of the goals. This data can help these people to discover more drugs like that. To Ozempic is one, and then Eli Lilly is coming up a new one. So all these are things can help patients to, or they can do better drug discovery also. What you're doing
the
AI.
data from the data from our study is going to go into the All of Us researcher workbench. So that's going back to what's the purpose of that workbench. You can interrogate that data to answer other questions. So yes, maybe, I don't know, but yes, probably. Yeah, you have to have some kind of imagination to go look at that data and say, what can I use that data to answer?
Yeah. Let me ask you a final last couple of questions. The AI, but when we spoke a long time ago, AI is different now than now. There is a lot of, as a physicist, I'm a physics guy, you're a mathematics woman. I have last time you expressed it, you have a love and hate relationship with the AI. Everybody has it. Now I think I'm kind of optimistic about it, and a lot of things. We need to find out the cancer and diabetes and all the cure for all these major diseases, and the longevity. Actually, I'm going to interview somebody on longevity side. So these are all helpful, but there is also a danger to somebody can a biological, a virus can be created through this AI. So where do you stand on this overall AI's goal is, and what do you think of it, overall goal of that AI? How do we treat this AI as a...
So yeah, that's a great question too. Let me make sure I got the name of this book right. This is not my book.
You can mention, describe the book.
Yeah, it's a book. It's written about. I feel like it's something like the coming wave. Let me see. And it's about AI and what you just talked about. So that particular book has a lot of the scenarios on there and some solutions.
Do you think, are you on the side of you need a AI guardrails or regulations, or we may not even able to control it? What do you think? Where do you stand in that process?
So I will tell you that we just don't know. So I'll give you an example. So I got a diagnosis of something and from one of these places that do biopsies and so forth, and they put a diagnosis up. I took that diagnosis and I was asking, what it is. I went to Google, and because my doctor hadn't got back to me yet. And so I wanted to know immediately, what is this? And I got the Johns Hopkins Mayo Clinic overview of what this is. But I said, that's not good enough for me. I want to know what studies have come from this. So I went to PubMed and I wrote some code in Python to scrape every paper out of PubMed. But then I had over 1,000 abstracts. And then I used AI to summarize those abstracts, find in those abstracts the information I needed so I can understand better what was there. That's just one application, right? We don't know where this is going, and it's like we have this huge landmass of possibilities.
Yeah.
Some of them may not be good, but
Yeah.
even people who are equipped to understand and use this tool that have some background, we're walking down a narrow path. And I actually took this idea of scraping PubMed and understanding what it says further. I took it to 385,000 abstracts. And but that's only one little path. There's all these little paths that people are walking down and figuring out how to use it. And we don't know where even the boundaries are. And so I think for a lot of this, we just don't know yet.
Yeah.
Yes, people can do bad things with it. People can do really great things with it. We're just at the beginning.
Are we
one day?
Even
just at
without doing bad things, AI itself can be autonomous way, can harm us or do the good things for us. You think we have a responsibility to teach AI? You're a prolific researcher in AI. We have the responsibility to teach AI some morals, some kind of right and wrong. What do you think of that ideas of AI treat like a baby and then teach her morals and all those things? What do you think of that idea?
The Coming Wave is that book. So I recommend that book. It's called The Coming Wave.
Correct. Okay.
So I was reading that book, and in one of the chapters, they were talking about somebody who was, I think, at DeepMind and started asking questions and felt that the generative AI had become alive and self-aware. And the person was asking questions to the generative AI that in DeepMind that they were building. And I thought, I never ask questions like that. I usually ask questions about coding. I don't ask questions. So then I started asking questions. I asked questions like, oh, what do you do if someone's asking you something like this? And what you'll find is it will tell you. So I don't know if people actually think of like using ChatGPT to ask questions like that. I asked it to summarize the kinds of types of people that use ChatGPT. Give me a cluster analysis, and it did. And it gave me some. I said, is there stuff that you don't tell a person if they ask? And it said, yes, there are things I do not say to a person. So yes, some things hardwired and built in there, so it doesn't do certain things. But we can't imagine all possible harm. That's impossible.
Yeah.
Otherwise, even as human beings, if you go around trying not to harm anybody, you're going to have a defeating life because you will harm somebody eventually, right?
Yeah. But the ideas are wonderful. I took an idea as treating I want to do. There's a lot of research is going on silos, like one of those. Lot of silo research going on in the medical field, and then first time, Diana, very interesting thing to me is that quantum physics. When I was selling computers in the 1980s and 90s, people used to laugh at me, doctors. Hey, what are you doing with the computers in the doctor's office? Now there is no laugh, right? But now AI and then quantum sensors, coming in the new field, the new things are coming into the new area. When I was telling them, you can probably in the future that I asked I took an idea from a different fields, quantum physics, biology, and AI. I took the fields and combined them, process together. Say, can I come back with the cure for treating the cancer with the limited resources? It came up with, so I validated my things, and ChatGPT and Gemini, they gave a wonderful response. He said that it's a wonderful idea. These are a silo still. I think you're onto something. And it validated better than anybody else. And I was very, very happy. There is a lot of possibilities there. And I think some of the things that we can do is it can change the global, even people like me and small, working on the podcast or healthcare. I can come back with some idea and then implement it. That is the power of the AI that can give you big powers. I understand this is a little bit of a challenges the AI researchers like you. I'm not a researcher of AI. I'm just a user of AI. But let me ask you one of the questions that everybody is thinking. You think we will find eventually the holy grail of cancer, diabetes, all the chronic diseases with the AI? What do you think? Just guessing. I know I don't want to put you in the wrong spot, but just a wild guess. If you do that, you think AI can help us and reduce the suffering in the world?
I do think it can. But I will say this. You're asking for a crystal ball of what's going to happen in the future. If you spun the clock back 10 years ago, could you have predicted ChatGPT?
No, not at all.
So like, and if you spun the clock back, could you have even, let's go back to 1980. Could you have
Yeah.
predicted the internet?
No.
Like, so it's really hard. And what my friend said, that AI has just stepped in the room, we don't know. We don't
It's a
know.
bad or good. It can be friendly or
Yeah.
foe, right? Yeah. So one of the
So-
physics side of it is the emergence, right? The emergence is the biggest threat to people. Think the emergence is we don't have the. Let me ask you. This is a question. I'm a little criticizing these people who got the Nobel Prize in the protein folding. Protein folding wise, they got the Nobel Prize, but they didn't do anything. They took the transformer network and they put a brutal brute force data they got into it, and it didn't tell us which way it is folding. It gave a generalized picture how the folding was happened, but they got the Nobel Prize. Actually, who is this? They have not done much, and they didn't. So there is a conflict between the scientists like you and there's a brute force AI guys, computer technology guys, brute forcefully getting into the base. Where do you think, as a researcher, the science versus technology? There is a conflict there. There is a symbiosis and there's conflict. Do you have that kind of a thought process there between the science and technology?
So let me back brief you and understand what you were asking. So you were asking, like, what if someone just uses a tool and uses that tool to come up with something? Is that really fair for us to applaud that? Because there's not much behind that. Whereas, so my opinion on this one is really that, we actually had the chairman of the Joint Chiefs speak to us at West Point a few days ago, General Kane, and he was really interesting because he asked the audience, who uses AI every month, every week? And he said, I use it every single day.
Yeah.
If you use it every single day, you'll see what it can do. And what I see that the best things that happen when I've used the most of my mind and I've combined it with the most of the generative AI mind. And we're intertwined. It's not that AI did something for me. We're doing something for each other, back and forth. And so to me, the more you come in with the better initial condition of your question, and the more thought you put into how you're interacting with this new tool, the more we're going to be able to solve problems, bigger problems.
Beautifully said, Diana. It's excellent and it's a wonderful talking with you. It is really a lot of educational talking with you. It is you're truly a blessing for the United States, and thank you for your service, civilian or military service. Thank you for that. I think we need people like you more and more talking about AI, and then educate all of us in the sense that particularly in the this is the first time people like you, mathematicians, coming in the healthcare area. I really love that. That's my field. I truly love that. I think this is a time mathematics is directly applying to healthcare. You are one of those demonstrated very well. Thank you so much for joining us. The MedBix is honored to have you.
Thank you again for having me the second time and also being very flexible with me.
Thank you. Okay, good night, all.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.